pandemic stuff is still going on, of course, and interestingly enough, there's a lot of stuff today I read about, I guess, drones in relation to this. How about this first one? You've all seen stuff like those Mavic 2 Enterprises with the speakers and stuff, right? This one says, drones help Chennai police to battle COVID-19. Authorities in India are turning to drones in the battle against the coronavirus pandemic. This one looks like an Inspire drone, and it seems like they attached the speakers or megaphone, whatever you want to call it, and I guess they're flying it around and alerting people, like stay away or whatever. It seems like it's more for information awareness, I guess. Like it says in the description, it says, a technician fixes a speaker to a drone used by police to monitor activities of people and spread awareness announcements during a government-imposed nationwide lockdown as a preventative measure against the COVID-19 coronavirus in Chennai. And with that talk about people wanting to use drones yesterday to spray disinfectant around public places and stuff, I guess more places are actually going to do it. This one says, civic body to deploy drone for disinfection operation. Tirunelveli Corporation is all set to use a drone to spray disinfectants along narrow streets and high-rise buildings. After a successful demonstration conducted at the presence of collector Shilpa Prabhakar Satish here on Saturday, it has been decided to use it from Sunday. And it sounds like it's going to have like a regular shift, like a regular person. It says the battery-operated drone, which would be deployed between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m., was capable of spraying 10 liters of disinfectants in 10 minutes. If necessity arises, we will increase the number of drones, the civic body chief said. And I guess within this province here, it seems like, I guess, some authority figures are trying to use drones in a more, I guess, positive way to remind people to keep their distance and stuff. This one's from the Chilliwack Firefighters Association, and it seems like what they did was they held a sign to show you, I guess, what the 2 meters looks like, and they used the drone to basically capture the aerial perspective of it. I guess with that said, they were saying here in Vancouver that they're going to actually have people going around instead of, I guess, drones to alert people to keep your distance and all that. Because you guys saw, like, when I made those videos and stuff, how it actually is, like, in the downtown core with all those signs. This one says, park champions to educate public on physical distancing in Vancouver Parks beaches. The Vancouver Park Board is starting a new Park Champion program where staff in bright green vests will remind the public the importance of physical distancing or staying more than 2 meters apart to curb the spread of COVID-19. The program starts today, redeploying about 25 staff from the recreation facilities to busy locations, including Stanley Park, Kitsilano, Sunset Beach, and English Bay, said the Park Board General Manager Malcolm Bromley. The park champions will be working to stop the remaining problem of people gathering outside. He says, quote, for now, the beaches and parks remain open, but if we continue to see people gather in groups, we will be forced to take other measures, even looking at closing further public spaces. So it's kind of interesting how they're actually using people to go around to tell people to stop, I guess, gathering up in groups and all that. Although this kind of raises an interesting topic about that notion of, does this, for example, social and physical distancing mean stay at home like a hermit, for example, or if you're going out, then leave your space and all that? Because again, like just reading some of the comments in terms of the division, like this person says, what part of stay at home makes that a great idea? This world is a joke. Stay at home, walk around your house, and don't spread this virus around because you think you have the right to go on a nature hike. Stay at home. And another person says, I go for a snowshoe walk in the bush almost every day and never see anybody, but then I live in the boonies. And then they reply with saying, people who think they are the exception are the problem. That's kind of, again, the interesting point where some people read it as they said. Basically, the advice is if you need to go out, then don't gather up in groups, don't treat it like a party, take it seriously. Whereas some people take it to the extreme in their mind. That means, nope, sit at home as if you're like some hermit or something like that. Because that's actually a perspective that not many people talk about. Nothing in the guidelines says you should absolutely stay at home. For example, it's, again, you keep your distance. Don't go to these crowded places and all that. Again, take it seriously. So funny enough, actually, with the other story afterwards kind of relates to this. It's kind of good timing because one person commented on that one when I documented Vancouver, like what it looks like currently. This guy says to me, stop going outside. It's people like you that are spreading and getting it. Okay, and I commented him first saying here, funny comment timing. Next video has topics for people just like you. And yes, it does. I mean, funny but true thought. Basically, for this guy here, you probably have no idea who needs to go out and why, what they're doing. You're probably the same type of person where if your computer broke down right now, you won't be able to access the internet. Then you'll be yelling and screaming for someone like me to come help you and fix it, correct? But that basically relates to this article because in this situation, again, there are a lot of people who are interpreting the whole situation differently. And here, this one here says, Vancouver Island mom faces pandemic police for bringing kids to the grocery store. Mother pleads for people to stop shaming single parents. As stay-at-home orders ring out from provincial press conferences and social media posts, one Suk mother of two is pleading with the public to stop shaming her for taking her kids along for errands during the COVID-19 pandemic. Janine Walker says her options during essential outings are limited. Her husband is deployed with the military, and without family in the area, there is no one to help her with babysitting. She also says that as an able-bodied and healthy stay-at-home mom, she doesn't fit the bill for many volunteer and delivery services available to more vulnerable community members during the crisis. Walker says she takes social distancing measures seriously and has talked to her children about the importance of leaving space between themselves and others. So she was surprised on March 28th when she encountered the hostility twice while grocery shopping with her 2-year-old daughter and 6-year-old son. The first incident occurred while she was changing her daughter in the back of her van in the Langford Lowe's parking lot. She says a man in a truck yelled out of the window at her, saying, "Keep your kids in the house for Christ's sake." Walker was hurt by the comment from someone she calls a member of the quote, pandemic police. "You don't know what my situation is," she says. "It's not like I'm pulling up to the grocery store and letting my kids run amok and lick everything." Walker says there was another altercation that day in the Quality Foods. She says her daughter was strapped in the shopping cart and her son was close to her side when a man called her a bleep mom for taking her kids out with her. The incident escalated with Walker and the man yelling at another before he paid and left the store. Walker cried when she got to her car. Even though the guidelines say if you need to go out or whatever, get your grocery shopping, do your quick exercise and so forth, then do it, but keep your distance. Unless, to my understanding, it's family members or people who live in the household can stay like close to each other, like within a limit, of course. I mean, that's a good point, and unfortunately not everyone has, for example, a thick skin. I'm pretty sure they can get really distressed when people harass them in that way when they're doing absolutely nothing wrong. I mean, as for all those people to think about too, I know there's more news about people trying to scold and shame people for being in large groups and so forth, but some people are just taking it to the extreme when that's not what the guideline says. If someone needs to go shopping and so forth, then let them be. They're doing nothing wrong. Like they said, there are actually people going to places, for example, with videos and licking items and stuff like that. Her kids aren't doing that, so leave people like that alone. What's wrong with you people? Like I said, they say the quote pandemic police. It's kind of like saying the drone police in many ways if you think about it. I said it before. It's not things like the virus and stuff I'm afraid of, it's what people do as a result of this. So many irrational people, in my opinion. Like, I'm just taking the screenshot of this guy's comment. He's still at it. Even he's saying, the people getting infected are people like you. Okay, do you see anybody around here right now? Okay, I had enough fun with this troll. It kind of makes me think too, like all these memes that are spreading around during times like this. You basically could be on the side of spreading fear and hate. You could be trying to do something productive for yourself, or at the same time you could be trying to contribute something. So what side of the fence are you on in this case here? That was kind of neat. Had some residents there who were really curious to see what the drone footage is going to turn out to be like for those cherry blossoms over there. Actually, funny enough, I was going to volunteer for an event this year to capture things like that, but then because of all this pandemic stuff, they canceled everything. Was actually testing a mix of the Pro and the Mini as well. All right, see you guys later.